Hey guys, and today I've got the Honda HR-V. This is a 2019 HR-V. This is the Sport. It's already available as a 1.5 VTEC. That's with 130 brake horsepower, and a 1.6 DTEC. That's good, they're diesel obviously, and that's 120 brake horsepower. This one is the 1.5 VTEC Turbo with 182 brake horsepower. Comes as a manual. This one is a CVT, front wheel drive in this particular guise obviously. And it's not just the engine. They've uprated the dampers, they've given it performance suspension, they've also tuned the electric assisted power steering to go with that. And of course, it's got those cool black alloy wheels, the gloss black accents on this car. This is a metallic color with pearlescent paint. It looks kind of cool. And of course, this has got a ton of kit on it. I'll go into the kit once we get into the car. Prices for these start at £20,000. This one is £29,000. This is the range topper. Performance wise, 0 to 60 in 7.8 seconds and 134 miles per hour top speed. Miles per gallon, you get 42.2 miles per gallon for the manual and 39.2 for the CVT. Odd that, isn't it, that the automatic is slightly less. Similarly, the CO2, the emissions, 151 grams per kilometer for the manual and 163 grams per kilometer for the CVT. Now, aside from trying to be a sporty compact, I say compact, but it's actually quite a spacious medium-ish SUV. But aside from that, it's obviously meant to be a very practical family car. So the first thing that we need to do is check out that practicality. And of course, we'll start as usual with the boot. So let's check out the boot. There's a little button under there that opens it. It's not powered, but it is incredibly spacious. I mean, that's a very low well there, and it's got this very durable rubberized plastic sort of bin here, which actually does come out. You can actually take that out. Underneath here, there's a little bit more room, a sort of hidden little cavity there, which you can just hide things if you want to, like a laptop or something actually. And of course, you can then drop those rear seats. Now, those rear seats actually have another little trick up their sleeves. I think I should show you that next. Actually, before that, check out these door handles. I do like that. Oh my God, where are the seats? The seats are gone. I know it's rough around here, but I didn't think somebody was going to steal the back seats. Don't worry, they haven't. Look at them, they're here. These are known as the magic seats. Magic rear seats, which of course were introduced on the Honda Jazz. And of course, all you have to do is just release this handle here. There you go, and they fall back into place. Similarly with this one. And split folding, again, these ones as well. So otherwise, and to lift them up again, if you just wanted to see how that was done, it's very easy. Just do that, put that down, and they're locked into place. So it's very simple and very easy to do. And why would you use that? If you go into IKEA and you bought some plants and you need a bit more room to carry them, anything tall you can put in here, stuff like that. So that's quite handy. So now we get into this seat. Now the interesting thing is that normally I get behind the driver's seat, and because that's set for me. Now this seat is actually set further back than the driver's seat. So quite a bit further back. In fact, if you can just make that out, I don't know if you can see that, but it is quite a bit further back. Now with that in mind, I'm absolutely fine, you know. Look at that, I've still got room. My knees are not actually yet touching the back, and even if they did, there's a bit of a scoop, so there's more room there. Plenty of wiggle room for my feet down there, and you know, loads of room all around me. Not really an issue. Headrest goes up, so that's quite comfortable. Headspace, despite the sloping roof, not too bad at all, and it does slope quite far back here. And there is, this is interesting, isn't it, that they've put this center seat belt just in the roof there. It's a little bit of an odd place, but I guess it kind of works. Make sure that everybody has a 3-point seat belt back here rather than just a lap belt for the middle. What do we get back here? Not a lot. We get, I don't know if you can make that out, we get a little bin, and we do get a power supply. No USBs, but there is a power supply, so I suppose you could put an adapter in there. No AC vents, but you do get, despite the fact that these seats fall down, you get a little armrest, so that's quite nice. But other than that, what you really get is a nice spacious environment and pretty reasonably comfortable seats. What's it like in the front? That's what we need to find out next. So here we are in the Honda HR-V in the interior. Check out this, the wine red upholstery. It's all part of the package, the sporting package that you get on this car. Traditional keys, so surprisingly not a starter button for Honda. Goes in there, and let's see how that looks. There you go. And it comes up with the Honda logo over there, and then that's the main screen. Now that's quite traditional, nicely done main screen with a big center speedometer, rev counter, as you can see. And this bit over here is the information panel, and the information panel is controlled by these buttons down here on the steering wheel. So if I scroll through, for example, you can see, so that's your remaining range, and that's your miles per gallon, and it will go through all of the various features, including the service life and all the rest of it, and come back to the beginning again. Now this bit here in the middle doesn't seem to do anything, which is a bit disappointing because there's a lot of real estate, and I would have thought, particularly this being the sporty one, it'd be useful to put miles per hour in there. That would have been quite helpful, but I can't see any way of doing that. If there is a very typical signature Honda thing for the steering wheel, it's got the voice control buttons there, stereo buttons there, and it's got the cruise control buttons there. It's got paddle shifts, and an eco button down there as well. Again, another Honda thing. That it's got climate control down here with touch buttons, which sometimes can be a little bit difficult to get used to. Just to, especially when you're in move, you're just trying to find a button. It's kind of tricky, but otherwise it's fine. Climate control worked really well. CVT gearbox, which we'll go into later, and of course this has a sport mode there. We'll talk about that on the move. Now, one thing that I do want to show you is, of course, the cubby box, which is reasonably deep but not massive. But then you have this massive bin over here, and you go, wow, that's quite spacious. Well, is that for the supersized cups that they get in America? But no, if you press this button here, watch what happens. Whoa! Did you see that? I'll show it to you again on this side. Look, watch. Whoa, that's so cool, isn't it? I'm easily pleased. That's like magic, that is. But that is basically a false floor will come up, and that will come up, and that's how, look at that, that's where you can put your cups. That's quite handy, isn't it? Down here, of course, this bridge for the transmission, under the bridge there's a little tray there, and then there's another little tray there, and under the tray there, if I can just go down there, look, there's some plugs. So you got HDMI cable, 2 USBs, and a power supply. Now that's nice, that's very handy, and it's easily arranged there, but it's quite difficult to see. You have to kind of contort yourself around the steering. It's quite difficult to get to. You almost have to get on your hands and knees down there to get to it. But otherwise, it's all very practical, sensible, comfortable, spacious, certainly. Visibility, not bad at all. It does have a reversing camera, so that's not really an issue, and you get lines there to help you reverse, so that's quite good. But overall, quite good. Now, tons of stuff on this. I'll just go through it quickly. Half leather, half fabric upholstery, as we said. Dual zone climate control. Rear parking camera, as we already said. Active sound control, so sound cancellation system. That's quite good. Cruise control, as we said. LED lights. Sport mode, paddle shifts. Heated seats. That's good, isn't it? I'll come back to the center screen in a minute. And it's got blind spot information. It's got cross traffic monitor, tire pressure warning system, collision warning and mitigation system, and high beam. High beam's really good at night. It worked really well. I was on a very quiet road, and it automatically increases the light and decreases it depending on if there's any traffic or cars in front of you. So very, very clever system. I do like that. Now this big screen here in the middle, if I could just press that and press OK, and then you get your little screens come up there. Now this is the Honda Connect with Garmin 7-inch touchscreen navigation with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and AHA. Yes, AHA. I don't know what AHA is, but there you go. AHA, see? But anyway, now it's good, it's fine, it's all there, but it's been a little bit tricky, not as intuitive to use as I would have thought, because the phone, for example, I didn't understand that you had to delete a phone in order to connect to your phone, and it wasn't obvious how you do that, so it took me a while to actually do that. And also, like it says, it's got Apple CarPlay, but I can see Android, but I can't see Apple CarPlay. In any case, once you plug your iPhone in, normally Apple CarPlay will just come up, but it hasn't, so I can't figure out how that works. But it does have a pretty good navigation and information or trip meter, all that sort of stuff, so everything is there. It does have DAB radio, so that's quite good. So really, the next thing is to take it for a drive and see what it's like on the road. So here we go, time to take it for a little run now. The CVT gearbox, obviously, not much loved by a lot of people, but I have to say it's been fairly unobtrusive in this one. Yeah, again, with like most modern ones, if you really push it, it starts to do the whole droney thing. But under normal conditions or normal driving conditions, to be honest, I haven't really noticed that it's a CVT. It's been, really, really very discreet about being the sort of transmission that it is. I'd prefer to have a normal one, of course. And, it does do this, it mimics changes. So, and you can actually feel these ratio changes through these paddles. So it's a bit odd, actually, that it does that. But anyway, it does. So it's not too bad. Steering is quite weighty, actually. reasonably accurate, reasonably precise, quite weighty. I wouldn't say it was feelsome, but it's certainly weighty, so it's nicely weighted. Again, I guess they've done that deliberately to make it feel a bit more sporty. Suspension is very good. The ride is very good. The motorway ride was fantastic. You feel a little bit of movement on it. It's a little bit firmer perhaps than you would expect for a family SUV, but again, maybe that's part of the sport. Again, they have put performance dampers and upgraded the suspension on this one, so that's not altogether a surprise. What it does mean is that I've thrown it around a few corners and it's been absolutely fine. It's very stable. It's quite neutral up to a point and not really an issue. Surprisingly grippy as well. So actually, it's a very good steer. The thing about it is that it's actually quite an entertaining car to drive, performance-wise, as you can imagine. I mean, it's a sport. It's not pulverizing performance. Remember, it's still an HRV. But having said that, you can. I mean, it moves, and it's pretty linear. And it will that's just a collision mitigation thing. And it moves, and it's pretty linear, and the acceleration is pretty solid, and generally quite satisfying. So to be honest, it's like, I don't know if you would really, if you were after a sports SUV, would you get this? Or if you were after an HRV, wouldn't you just be happy with a 1.5? I suspect the latter. I suspect that actually you just need the 1.5 because of the kind of car this is. Because yes, okay, it handles okay, and it has good performance, and it looks quite nice. But if you could have the looks without all of this, then maybe that's the way to go, because this is not necessarily a car that you would chuck around or drive very hard. Having said that, it's good to have that performance. It was certainly useful to have it on the motorway, and the economy isn't too bad as long as you drive it sensibly. So there you go, all around. I think it's a very good car. It's a great addition to the Honda lineup. Actually, a re-edition, because obviously HRV used to be there, disappeared, and then came back again. So it's nice to have a car that just slots under the very, very excellent CR-V, which is a very popular choice. But I think that it won't have the appeal of the CR-V just because the CR-V is a well-established brand now. It's just an additional choice. Definitely worth checking out if you're looking for compact SUVs and you want a compact SUV that actually is a little bit more on the spacious and more practical side. Check out the spec and the prices, like I said, starting from 20 grand, and well worth going and checking out if you're interested in that sort of car. So anyway, there's the review. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the car, the review, anything else you like. Leave your comments above, below, elsewhere, wherever you can do. And thanks once again, and hope to see you in the next one. We've got a lot of kit on this car. Over here, we've got the screen over there, and okay.